Welcome back everyone. So this is the code that we worked with in the previous video, and in this video I want to talk about buffers and buffered readers. So what happens when we make a file reader and give it a file and we do a read on that is that this file right here is being accessed again and again for every character, and that's not really a very efficient way to do stuff. So there's actually a memory segment called a buffer, and what happens when we make a buffered reader is that an entire line is taken character by character and is put into the buffer, and we read from the buffer. We read an entire line from the buffer, and the file is only accessed when we've read one line from the buffer and then we need the next line. So what we are going to do here is create a buffered reader. Let's say br equals new buffered reader, and I'll give this the same file again, and let's just, before we do anything, just compile this once. So let's do javac file.io.java, and I get an error here. It says string cannot be converted to reader. So basically this buffered reader constructor doesn't accept a string. It needs a reader here which can actually read character by character. So let's just create a new file reader, and the file reader constructor is okay with a string, and this will work now. So this compiles fine. Let's just go ahead and do a string input equals new br.read line, and this read line method is it's present in a buffered reader but not in something like a file reader. For that we have the read method, and that'll read character by character, whereas the read line will read an entire string, which is till we reach a new line in the file. And let's just go ahead and do a system.out.println, and let's print input here. So let's go ahead and run this. So as you can see, it prints out the entire string which is present in this binary string file. And let's just go ahead and create another string, and let's do this part right here once again, and let's just remove a string from here since we already have a string input, and let's clear this and run it again, and it prints both the lines. So that's what we use the buffered reader for. And let's go ahead and comment this out. Let's say we want to write to a file. We can also have a buffered writer. Let's say bwriter equals new buffered writer, and this time we need to give it a file writer. So let's create a new file writer and give it binary string.txt again, and let's just do a bwriter.write, and let's just write some random string, and here's my binary string.txt file. Right now it contains the two binary strings that we wrote, and let's go ahead and compile this program. And it compiled and it actually ran fine, but let's open the binary string file. So we don't have anything here, and the reason for that is because this write method actually writes to the buffer. When we actually want to write everything in the buffer to the file, we need to call another method which is the flush method. Um, so let's do this now, and let's run this. And this time my binary string here contains the string that we gave here. So that's a 001, 001, 01, and that's exactly the string that has appeared here. And it's also actually a good practice to just close the buffered reader. So, but we are not going to be doing that right now. So that's what a buffered reader and a buffered writer is. And what exactly happens is that the file itself is accessed only when, let me just write this down. So um, the file is accessed only when buffer is either empty or full, depending on whether you're reading from the file or writing to it. So if you're reading from the file, um, then the contents of the file are read and put into the memory segment called the buffer. And when the buffer becomes full, it actually when once these contents have been moved to the buffer, it actually reads the buffer, and only when the buffer is empty does it access the file again for the next set of contents. And when we are trying to write to a file, what the buffer reader does is it actually writes to the buffer first, and only when we do something like a flush or when the buffer is full, only after that does it access the file again. So the file is accessed only when the buffer is either empty or full. So that's all there is about the buffered reader and the buffered writer. So I think that's it about the Java I/O part, and we might actually do a very simple network program as well. I won't be going too much into detail about writing network programs or backend programs in Java, but I think it would be a good idea to just use all of these classes that we've learned about to write a program that can communicate over the network. So let's see. I'm not very sure about this program, but let's see about that, and I'll see you next time.